Hey guys, this is Will Roundtree, your FICO Certified Credit Specialist, Credit Mastery Instructor for the J. Morrison Academy, author of 2 books, Credit is King, as well as Full-Time CEO, The Shit They Don't Tell You. But more importantly, I want to take you on this journey about financial literacy, the importance of credit, how to understand credit, and how to get to that money. Let's go. Hey guys, Will Roundtree here, 2-time author of the books, Credit is King, and Full-Time CEO, The Shit They Don't Tell You About. Now, in my first book, Credit is King, it's really just a manual. It's a breakdown of everything, every question, every problem, even solutions on how to deal with credit, how to understand it, how to build your children's credit, identity theft, how to deal with credit after identity theft. And there's even a glossary in there that talks about different terminology in the credit industry or just, in the world of dealing with credit bureaus and all that good stuff. But more importantly, I want to actually talk to you about credit myths. Now, this is actually an insert from a chapter of my book, Credit is King, but I want to bring it to you in a video format because there's so many misconceptions when it comes to credit. Because for one, it's not being taught anywhere. So anybody literally can just get out and come and talk about credit, Case in point, myself. But I do have over 10 plus years. I am FICO certified, and I've helped tens of thousands of families purchase homes, start businesses, buy businesses, buy buildings, all that good stuff. But what I want to come to you is talk to you about credit myths. Now, in relations to credit myths, the reason I want to talk about this is because what you don't know can't hurt you, and it will. It's something that I always say. And so in regards to that, these are probably the top 5 credit myths or misconceptions that people have brought into me over the past 10 years. So the first one is paying off my auto loan score, it'll help my credit. And that's not true. Now, does your auto loan impact your DTI, which stands for debt to income ratio? Yes, it does. But your DTI is not calculated when it comes to your credit score. It only calculates when you're trying to get approved for something from a financing standpoint, but it will impact the amount of money you can get approved for, but it does not impact your actual credit score. So now, the reason why paying off an auto loan does not help your credit score, in a previous video, I talked about the 2 types of credit. Can you remember what those are? I'll help you. It's installment and revolving. Now, an auto loan is an installment account. And as we know, you have these car dealerships say, hey, come on down, buy this vehicle, fix your credit. Now, let's say this is the only thing you have reporting on your credit score. And we talked about how an installment account doesn't help you immediately, but the payment history of that auto loan impacts you because payment history makes up 35% of our credit score. Now, if you are no longer paying on the one thing that's positive on your credit, you now no longer have what is called payment history, hence dropping your credit score. So paying off an auto loan early, paying off a mortgage early, anything with an installment account where now you no longer have any payment history reporting will drop your credit score. So don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, as I always say when it comes to paying off that auto loan early. Now, second, in a divorce decree, the spouse not obligated to pay the debt is no longer responsible credit-wise, and that is not true. So let me give you an example how that works. Let's say you and your spouse go and you purchase a home together, or you purchase you get a credit card together, you have an auto loan together, you have some personal loans together, whatever you guys may have applied for together. You are co-borrowers, meaning you both are on the credit application. Both of your credit profiles were used for the decision of being extended credit. Now, let's say, God forbid, you guys go through a divorce. The judge hands down a divorce decree or a divorce proceeding, and they say, the one spouse is responsible for the debt, and he or she must make the payments. But both of you guys were on the paperwork. That does not mean from a credit standpoint that you are not responsible, nor will it impact your credit score. Keep in mind, the divorce decree does not overrule the financial responsibility on the application. Because keep in mind as well, the judge doesn't know who is the primary or the potential cosigner. The judge doesn't know if both of you guys filled out the application together. So understand, if both of you guys were on the credit application, both are responsible for the debt in case, or if, God forbid, there was a divorce. So I really want people to understand that, because I see so many who have unfortunately gone through divorce where one of the spouse's credit has been ruined because they assumed they were no longer financially responsible. So in the event, if that was to happen with your marriage, you guys want to definitely make sure you sit down, or at least one of the two parties are responsible enough to know to say, you know what, this may be our reality, but let's at least make sure we, get our credits, or make sure our credit stays on par. All right. Number 3, if someone cosigns and the primary person defaults on the loan, the cosigner is not responsible for the debt. That is completely false. Look, I have a rule. Don't cosign for anyone. My mother know not to ask me to cosign for her, but that's because she's going to have great credit, because we have the blueprint to the credit. But understanding that I see this happen often, especially when it comes to auto loans. If you cosign for someone and they stop making payments, you are financially responsible. So understand that instead of, giving them the fish, teach them how to fish. Go and pick up my book, Credit is King. Help them improve their credit. Teach them the understanding of how credit works, how to build credit, how to repair their credit, just overall understanding why credit is important. And so by doing so, you now put them in a position where they may not necessarily need you as a cosigner, now putting both of you guys in position to where no one hopefully won't default, and also understanding, make sure you're not purchasing something that you truly can't afford. Then you won't even need a cosigner. So that's one of the things I always tell people. Be careful about cosigning for someone, especially if you're not sure how financially responsible they are, because, again, that person who is the cosigner is responsible. And a lot of times we, as the cosigner, we just assume they're going to make the payment. Next thing we know, we're going to the bank trying to apply for something, finding out we have a repossession on our credit because the person who we co-signed for did not make the payments on time. So again, the person who is the cosigner is also responsible for the debt. Number 4, it takes 7 years to clean my credit. I have a secret for you. That's not true. Now, we assume things are supposed to fall off our credit in 7 years, but that may not also necessarily always be the case. Keep in mind, there's really no regulations to how these credit bureaus operate and work and do different things like that. Did you know over 70% of credit reports have errors, inaccuracies, and different things and erroneous information that technically may not even be tied to us? And so just understanding that, we should always make sure we're reviewing our credit profile just in case something is on there that's not ours. But in the event, if you get in a jam and your credit does get challenged or ruined, it does not take 7 years. You can actually repair your credit. If you want to learn how, you can actually go and pick up my book, Credit is King. That's right, shameless plug, because we do have sample letters, all that good stuff. But even just giving you an overall understanding that you don't have to wait 7 years for hopefully things to fall off. You can actually start today in repairing your credit score. And so I want you to understand that credit repair is not illegal. There are actually laws put in place to protect us as consumers per the Fair Credit Reporting Act that gives us the ability and the right to dispute anything inaccurate, incomplete, and unverifiable, meaning that if they can't prove the debt down to the penny, if you dispute it, they do have to remove it off your credit report. Now, it doesn't mean you don't owe the debt. It just means from a credit report, a credit scoring standpoint, it will not impact your credit score. And lastly, that you share a credit profile with your spouse. No, that is completely false. Whatever credit score you come to the table with, whatever credit score your spouse comes to the table with, you guys have your completely separate credit profile entities, as I like to call them. Now, if you guys become co-borrowers, meaning you both fill out a credit application together, not as a co-signer, but equal shared responsibility for that credit application, then yes, you share responsibility for that particular account. But your credit profiles do not tri-merge. Your credit profiles will not link. They don't, share the same social security number. Remember, you have your social security number. Your spouse have their social security number. You're two completely different individuals. So your credit profiles and, you don't share one credit profile. OK, so just to recap, paying off an auto loan, will it help or hurt your score? Correct. It does not help your score, especially if you don't have any other credit reporting. In a divorce decree or proceeding, the spouse who the judge said is not obligated for the debt is no longer responsible credit-wise. That is completely false. If both of you guys were co-borrowers on that application, you both are responsible credit-wise. If someone is a cosigner and the primary person defaults, the cosigner is not responsible for the debt. That is not true. If they got a repo and you cosign for them, you also now will have a repo reporting on your credit report. It takes 7 years to clean my credit. That is not true. You can start today. That's right, today. As they said in the movie The Wizard of Oz, there's no better time than the present. So let's go ahead and get started today if that is the case. And lastly, you share a credit profile with your spouse. That is completely false. You have your own social security number. Your spouse have her own or his own social security number. So make sure you go out and apply for credit responsibly, and that's really what it all boils down to. So hopefully you guys have learned something about credit myths, about, the percentage of derogatories on people's credit report, or the percentage of people that have errors on their credit report. Again, as I say, don't fall for the myths out there when it comes to credit. And if you want to know more about more myths on credit, make sure you go out and pick up a copy. Click the link below to my book, Credit is King. Again, this is Will Roundtree, and I'll see you guys at the top.